All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the 12 News Connected Desk. I'm Keith Grant. Today we're going to go over that major swing in temperatures in a 24-hour difference. Pretty cold this morning, warmer tomorrow, plus the latest on the government shutdown. We're hearing from both leaders in the Senate. Let's start with weather, though. We've got meteorologist Adrian Campa here. He's going to dive deeper into this major temperature swing.
Yeah, we are going from one extreme to the next. It's kind of like what we like to visualize our weather here in Kansas. It truly is sometimes crazy.
Well,
and
this is going to be crazy because we're going to be reaching like record highs potentially.
there's potential that some areas will come close or maybe even tie a location or two, potentially breaking. So it's crazy. It's November. We really swing around during this time of year as those stronger cold fronts come in. Once the cold air, goes back north, we quickly warm up, then it's just a vicious cycle until winter's here.
Yeah.
And we're going to see that. This morning was the coldest start to the day we've had since early April. We had a low of 21 degrees. This afternoon, you step outside for the central and eastern part of the state, and it is chilly-dilly out there. It's only 45 this afternoon here in Wichita, but much warmer over the next few days. So let's jump into future track. Not much happening this evening. We're going to see a weak wind shift pushing in tonight. It's just switching our wind direction from westerly and southerly flow briefly to north flow, but then kind of fizzling out, and then we'll go back to clearing skies Tuesday night. But we're at that time of year. The daytime hours, except for today, are milder, and the night times are pretty chilly. So it's almost winter, so we have to be, prepared for that. But warming back up, average high down to 60 degrees. By the time we wrap up the month, we'll be down into the lower 50s for average highs. Again, we're creeping towards winter, so should be cooling down. But the weather doing its own thing. Thursday, highs into the lower 70s across Kansas, but the day that has the potential to see some records is Friday, and here's why. To get record heat, you need a few things. Sunshine, we're going to have that. 2, southerly flow, we're going to have that. Those winds gusting 25 to 35. Wind direction in spring and fall are so important because if you have a north wind, you're bringing in cold air from Canada. South wind, you're drawing up the warmth from Mexico and Texas, and that's why we're really warming things up on Friday. And Keith, here's a little preview of several locations that could come close. Even if here in Wichita we don't have a new record, either way, we're flirting with record territory, and let's just say we happen to soar to 78. That would tie the record, and we would have 1897-2025 for the record book. So there's potential that not just us here in Wichita, but other locations could come close to breaking a record. And again, that record we have standing is over 100 years old. So it goes to show just how crazy our weather is. In the same week, coldest morning so far this season, coldest temperature since April 7th, to bam, close to 80.
It was really cold. I brought out the gloves and was walking around yesterday. The wind was chilly, which we know
wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the wind.
It was. This reminded me of Adrian was describing what we need to get these records. I felt like I was like on a Martha Stewart show, but for weather. And
Stay tuned, that's coming next.
Adrian was like, "This is perfect, exactly. What you got to get for that perfect stuff."
It's just doing the weather show. If you haven't joined in, Storm Team 12 Weather Focus, we've been doing that a year now, and it's just like. It gives us an opportunity to be nerdy, and I've noticed that carrying over into other aspects of our newscast where we're like, well, we're just so traditional. We're like, let me just show you what's going to happen, but then also let's explain it, like dive deeper. Why is this happening?
Yeah, well, I like that part. All right, thank you, Adrian. We'll be right back after the break with the latest on the government shutdown. All right, more than 40 days into the government shutdown, there's new hope it could end as soon as this week. Senators meeting through the weekend say they've negotiated that breakthrough deal that was breaking last night, and they have enough moderate Democrats signing on to support it under this compromise bill negotiated by moderates. The bill would be amended to fund the government through January, reverse shutdown related federal layoffs, and guarantees back pay to all federal employees. It also includes 3 longer appropriations bills for certain agencies, including agriculture, which also funds SNAP. We've got Republican leader Senator John Thune in the Senate and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer this morning on the Senate floor.
I could spend an hour talking about all the problems we've seen, which have snowballed the longer this shutdown has gone on. But all of us, Democrat and Republican, who voted for last night's bill are well aware of the facts. And I'm grateful that the end is in sight. But I would encourage every member of this body, Democrat or Republican, pro-bill or anti-bill, not to stand in the way of our being able to deliver the coming relief quickly. The American people have suffered for long enough. Let's not pointlessly drag this bill out. Let's get it done, get it over to the House, so that we can get this government open.
The American people have now awoken to Trump's health care crisis. Health care is once again at the forefront of people's minds. People now see that premiums are about to skyrocket. They're terrified about how they're going to pay for their insurance. Democrats demanded that we find a way to fix this crisis and quickly, but Republicans have refused to move an inch. So I cannot support the Republican bill that's on the floor, because it fails to do anything of substance to fix America's health care crisis.
All right, once again, that was Republican Senator John Thune, Majority Leader and Minority Chuck Schumer for the Democrats. House Speaker Mike Johnson says that the House will vote on the plan as soon as it passes the Senate. He's telling members to start making their way back to Washington now, especially as there's those delays and even cancellations, airport mayhem for travel delays. That's what we've got right now from the 12 News Connected Desk. Be sure to join us for 12 News starting at 4.